What's up, y'all? You're kicking it with the Junkyard Dog on junkyarddogs.com. My name is Tony, for those of you who don't know. Man, it has been a long time and a bumpy road since I've been able to leave an update. Guys, it has been crazy up in here. Obviously, you know about the COVID and everything or whatever. But first things first, my health has not been A1. So I got laid off from work. Which means I lost my health care coverage, which means I had a lapse in my medication and for my leg. So any of you guys who are like my real fans, people who really rock with me, know from back then that I had problems with blood clots in my legs or my blood coagulating or whatever. All that means is I didn't get my medication and they came back, so I'm limping around the shop, not moving as quick. One good thing's still been happening, and that is Project Mayhem has still been getting worked on. So I'm going to show you guys. I rhino lined the inside like I said, or raptor lined the inside like I said I would, and then I flocked the dash like I said I would, and I went ahead and started running the wiring or whatnot behind the dash to get it ready to, you know, put the dash in and have that kind of sit where it's supposed to be. All right, so check it out. Let's get to it. So, you know, you guys see Mayhem. Hasn't been much going on in here for a while because there is some sort of oil pressure issue. I'm going to go ahead and take off one of these valve covers and check when I prime the pump if any oil's coming out, because so far it looks like there's none coming out. But I hope you guys can see this, but yeah, it's been rhino lined, you know, the whole interior. And then I painted the roll cage the same as the wheels, as you guys can see. Let's go around back here. Battery box is in, water meth tank is in. Boom, looking good. All right, so let's go over to, please excuse the mess in the shop. Like I said, I haven't had much time to really clean or do anything, you know, so it's been real rough on me. But thank you guys for your continued support. Everybody who hit me up, asked me how I was doing. I know you guys can't really see the flock side, but you can kind of see that's suede there now. And this is the mess of wiring. This is for the switch panel here. That is the button, as you can see here. That's the push the start button and the ignition button. And then we got a gang of switches there too, see? So we've been doing that. So yeah, man, we got the flocked dash. Here's the bottom part of the dash here. It's been flocked, looking good. So yeah, basically what I'm doing today is I'm going to take this metal frame back out, which is usually raw metal when it's in the car, but I'm going to take it back apart from the dash itself so that I can secure this to it. So basically how this goes is this goes like that and attaches to all these switches. So this is power. So when I turn on the ignition or turn on the main power, the power here turns on, activates all the switches, and then these go to the respectable things that they're going to turn on. And those things that they're going to turn on are here. So that those yellow wires are going to go down to these. So each one of these goes to a specific relay to turn on something. I'm going to change this one to a starter relay from the fan, because the fan has its own relay mounted to the fan itself. So I'm going to use that instead of this. So yeah, but yeah, that's the sequence right there, man. So first switch I turn on is going to be the ECU. Then I'm going to turn on the injectors, coils, fuel pump, everything gets turned on just like that. You know what I mean? So, and then the way that the way that this is powered, that switch is powered, it comes through here, and then it's going to go through a 30 amp fuse and go out up to via one of these yellow wires to power it, to tell the switches when to turn on and off. Get it? I know wiring seems a little complicated, but it actually is. DC wiring, not AC, DC wiring, which is automotive wiring, is actually way more simple than I ever thought it would be. And it's freaking amazing and actually kind of fun, to be honest. And I'm really surprised at how much I actually like it after all. Just to show you guys, you know, you shouldn't be afraid to try things because you never know how you might like it. All right, so let's get down to taking this back apart so I can mount that distribution block here. All right, let's go. Yeah, it looks really, I really like the way that came out. I actually sprayed the glue on because me spreading it on by hand, by myself, just didn't seem like that good of an idea because you only have 10 minutes to work with this stuff, the glue, when you're flocking. All right, so now I'm gonna like pre-wire the switches. So what I did is just to mark them, I put 1 bar, 2 bars, if you can see, 2 bar, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, so I'll know which one goes in the first slot and whatnot. So, and usually with these switches, it's the bottom that is the off position. Okay, so the next thing to do here is to wire the on switches, which is the one that's on the side here. So before I put the switches back into the dashboard. So the switches are pre-wired with the power. Now it's for the activation of whatever I'm going to be using. So I'm thinking to do this into a plug. The reason why is that I don't know how long the wires are going to take me to be from here. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why would I try to run wires at the right length from here right now at this point? As you can see, let me show you guys. So basically the wires are supposed to come from here and then go over to the main board, which switches on the white wires on the relay, which turns the accessories on. I could use 1 wire to turn on all the accessories, but I kind of like the advantage of being able to like separate systems and all that kind of stuff, just in case something goes wrong. I can kind of like pin it down and figure out what's going on. And also have the option to kill the fuel if I want to, or kill the injectors if I want to, for whatever reason, you know. I'm also putting a switch on there for 2 extra auxiliary switches. On this car, I actually wanted to install a stealth mode. I saw that one time in a Batman movie. I thought it was really freaking cool, and I always wanted one on my car. So I'm gonna have like a stealth mode where like it kills the relay that is used for the lights. So I'm gonna have a relay running from another switch in the bezel, and that's gonna run the lights and everything, and then this switch will override that if anything, you know, even if I'm pressing the brakes, once I hit the stealth switch, it's nothing, you know. You know, that may come in handy. I could totally explain why, but I don't want to give anybody any bad ideas. But yeah, so anyway, so let's get to getting one of the doign connectors and see if we can hook up the wires here to a doign connector, which I think would be cool to kind of have come down to like an area right here. That way I could easily reach underneath the dash and plug it and unplug it, maybe like right here or something, you know? All right, let's go. Here is the bird's nest that I have created, but the bird's nest makes sense to me. So all the red ones, what I did was I separated red and blue. So the red connectors are all on top here. And these are all gonna go into a doign connector, and including these 2 wires here coming from the main switch and the starter switch. All right. Here's my doign connector to the tops of the switches. So I'm just gonna plug in here, boom, and come from the panel. So because it's not in the car, I don't know how long I should make it, you know what I mean? And I don't want to like waste extra wire. So right now I can reach under here through this hole right here and plug it in. And then maybe like, you know, zip tie it somewhere, or, you know, it could be out the way. So yeah, that's the move. I didn't get to bolt this down because, you know, the way that I thought I was going to do it didn't work. I need better bolts. I kind of figured that I would too, because I want to use the cap, and the way they designed this, it's kind of stupid. Where the cap goes, so does the bolt, and it's kind of dumb. Anyway, let's look back here. So the wires come, they're gonna come over. Power goes here, distributes to all the lower parts of the switches, and then comes out the top switches when I switch them on, and it goes through here. Now, in this particular part here, some of these are outs, and one of these is an in. I probably should have opted to use a different color for the in, but I put a tag on this, ignition power in, which would be number 9. And then for the starter relay, it's number 10. So 9 and 10. 9 is actually power in. So I don't know if that'll affect anything. The current's going to go in the opposite direction, but you know, hopefully that won't make too big of a deal, you know. So yeah. So now just to the point where kind of, I guess I would just tape it up, you know. I'm gonna write down some notes. The number 9, I should have made number 9 the power in red, like a red 16-inch gauge cable. It's still not too late to do that, because I didn't put, one thing I learned with these connectors too, until you are like absolutely certain that everything is locked down, do not put the orange retainer clip in there until you're absolutely certain that this is what you're doing, because once this thing is in there, it is damn near impossible to get it out other than breaking it, you know. So I learned that lesson the hard way. So yeah, man, let me take some of this harness tape and tape it up and see what I can come up with here. Let's start with over here. I put the harness tape on there right there up to this junction here, and let these guys all flow free to their spots. And then I ran the harness tape all the way, and then there's some clips here to keep it away from the metal, and then you're gonna see the harness here, boom, and then it goes here where 2 wires go here, and then the other one for the continued power for the switches comes from right here. So yeah, that's my wiring scheme or schematic or whatever for the switches. So now I just got to tighten them down and then put this in the car. I think the only other thing is over there in that corner, right over there, as you can see, that corner there, that's going to have the USB port tied in the ground here to the frame, which also attaches to the frame of the car. So you guys can see, I wrapped some foam around here and then attached it to this thing here so that when it plugs in underneath the dash there, it'll just plug in right there. So this is all wired. This has been secured down. I got some screws that allow me to still use the cap. And then as for this here, all these yellow wires go to the switches. So these are going to come through, and then I got it ran here. This is for the ignition on, which is at the main switch that I have over here. This switch way over in this corner, that one. So this ignition on also goes into there, and I've labeled them all so that you can know which one is which, you know. And I kind of, you know, I put some tape on there just because I know it's not wise to put tape on before it's done, but it just mentally, I'll pay for an extra roll of tape just for the mental relief it gives me just to see them together, because this is a little overwhelming for me. But yeah, it's been totally doing this thing. And no, I have not been soldering on this soft foam where I'm gonna start a fire, okay? Matter of fact, let me get this off here. So now this is gonna get the plug, this plug here, the female plug. So this is gonna get the female plug inside the car. And I cut it a little extra, and then if I can, and, you know, then I could like cut it down to whatever length. I made it to measure to where it would come out to like here. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe I don't like this being here. Maybe I want it to go somewhere hidden or whatever. I don't know. So I cut this a little extra, and I won't add this plug here until it's in the car. All right. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. And I'm gonna add a plug here as well, an 8-prong plug, because I got a bunch of those. This one's only 5. I might need some extra relays though. We are inside Mayhem. This is the area that I want to put the electric panel. As you guys might have saw in earlier videos. Now I use a riv nut down here, and I use a riv nut up here, which worked great because I could get the tool in there, you know, so it makes a really clean, professional kind of look. And I'm trying to just move away from all sheet metal screws in the car, because the sheet metal screws, once you put them in once, and I already noticed it from me even putting it in the first time, you put the sheet metal screw in once, take it out, all of a sudden it doesn't have its same holding power as it did before, and it just gets weaker and weaker. So riv nuts for the win. Giving you guys a view of my board that is now mounted in the car. I used riv nuts to mount it, which actually turned out pretty cool. I'm gonna put some washers there instead of it being just the nut, just the bolt. And there's a cover for the fuse box. I just don't know where it is. It's still a mess, but it's not looking like as much of a mess. So this is a bulkhead that I'm using. So this is the power for the fuse box. This is the power from the battery, a 1-gauge cable from the battery. So it comes from the battery, hits this bulkhead right here, and from this bulkhead it goes down to the starter. And this bulkhead up here, now I could use the same bulkhead for the alternator, but I chose to use a separate one, and I honestly don't remember why. I think it was something that I saw this diagram on the internet, and on the diagram it had something basically to the effect of these things being separate for whatever reason. I don't really know or understand why I did that, but it doesn't hurt it to be separate. This is going to go back towards the battery as well, all the way from the front to the back. If I remember correctly, I think it's because I wanted to put this on a fuse. So this bunch of wires, I shoved them up in here for right now. These are the wires that I had no use for as of right now. Here's the USB port that goes in the dash. The 2 plugs, these are for the switches. This is for this plug down here is for the relay power. So the power that actually comes from the coils and everything will go down there. And then here is the grounds. Here's the fuse box ground. So that's gonna go through, and I'm gonna go ahead and tape that up and get those together. Once all these are done and everything, I'll tape it up, put some loom on it, and it'll be good to go. All right, so yeah, that's that for right now. All right, y'all, so that's it for this episode. We went ahead and got a lot of wiring done, you know. So you've seen that I kind of ran into a little roadblock because the clamps that I want to use to hold the wires down, I want to hold down the alternator return wire and the main gauge wire. I want to hold them down together, and I want to hold them down pretty tight. I don't want them all loose. So I'm about to go and pick up some clamps from Lowe's. Hopefully they have what I'm looking for. But other than that, man, I wanted the wiring on the interior to be somewhat finish. Man, need like 1 or 2 little touches here and there, but for the most part, I wanted it done. So yeah, it's been a while. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I really appreciate your support. Make sure you go to junkyarddogs.com. I appreciate it, and we back out here, baby. Junkyard dogging. Woo!